Here what we got for you is a Pioneer. This is a 15 model. It's an AVH 170DVD. This is the entry level, starting at their lineup in in-DVD multimedia receivers. As you can see, it's already on the Ipod Screen. Now this one here, I'm going to basically cover, is essentially like a 1700S. I know that there's other people that done reviews and they said that basically a 1700S is the same thing as a 170 DVD except for series. Man, let me just get this said. That could not be any more wrong. There is no more wronger than that wrongness. That's just wrong. This unit, the 170 DVD, is a totally different animal. It's not even comparable with the 1700S. I just did the review on the 1700S. If you're interested, look at the link, take a look at that, because if you're interested in purchasing this unit, I'm sure you're going to be very interested in also looking at the step-up piece, which is the AVH 1700S. Totally different animal than this 170 DVD. If you look at the two side by side in the front, it would be hard to take one and put it aside from the other. But when you look at them from the rear, and when you turn the units on and integrate an interface with the controls and the user features and functionality and all that other stuff, man, it's not even close. Not even close. So never compare this to that, because some people just don't know what they're doing. They should just leave the reviews to the professionals like me. So anyway, enough of that. This is the 6.2-inch in-DVD receiver, slot load, eject button located right here. You'll see that there's also an IR receiver for the remote control, which is not included with the unit for whatever reason. Top left is also a hidden reset button, so if you need to know that for any reason, you reset, put the wrong language, just screwed up some settings beyond belief, and you need to start over, that's Control-Alt-Delete in the computer world to the in-dash stereo world. All your features are laid out on the left side. There is an absence of a 3.5mm analog audio input or USB in the front. Located in the rear for 2015, and I think it's great, and that's the way it should be, because I hate wires hanging out of the front of your dashboard. If you're going to go through the work of installing a unit, you should install the wire, run it out from the rear, and bring it up to the front. On that note, Pioneer is starting to include these little extension cables for the USB, which is great, because between this and the lightning cable for my iPhone 5, it gives you about 5 feet of length. I mean, nobody needs more than that. So there you go. And thank God for Pioneer finally listening to people like me complaining and saying, give us the damn cables already. Stop being so cheap. So anyway, on the left side, you have your volume up and down. Mute button, the little 4 squares that kind of look like a window screen. That's your main menu screen. Display just turns it on and off, toggles it, and you have the fast forward, rewind. For, you know, stuff like this, you could use it for the iPod, of course. It does essentially the same exact thing as these two on screen. And since Pioneer is so good, they've mastered the art of on-screen touch display functionality. It's almost pointless to use any of this stuff anymore, except for maybe the volume, of course, because, hey, you have to. So anyway, on the Ipod Screen, which is where most people are going to use for their audio. I mean, let's keep it real. If you don't have a Bluetooth receiver, which this is not, this is how it's going to be done. So you have your artist, your song, you have the album, and you have the genre. There is no ever scroll feature on here, nothing like that. There's no multicolor functionality for the artwork over here. But essentially, all the stuff from the upper end models, like the 1700X, 2737, all the way up the food chain, this is very much the same. Play, pause, located in the same exact button. Over here, you have a way to toggle between your music. This is not a slide, except, you know, like it is on the higher end models, but again, it's not the higher end model. Over here, this is how you can search for all your music. And this one, it has like this little slide thing on the right side, but you can't really touch it, you know. It's maybe I just got fat fingers. I don't know, maybe I got sausage fingers. I don't think I have them, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But anyway, you could just use these little up and down arrows and choose the way you want it to do it. So let's just say if you want to do an artist, you don't have the A, B, C, D and all that slide fancy schmancy stuff from A to Z, and you know, you can go like this, and I mean that's for the higher end models. Let's just keep it real. BB King, which is again no longer with us. Sorry to see you go, my friend. Your music lives on. There you have it. So it's pretty easy and straightforward with the functionality for the music. Of course, you cannot go from app mode to mode using the phone itself, but it's pretty good for what it is. I think it's pretty darn good. And you always have up here your settings menu, which will take you into all the settings, which I'm going to go through with you in detail, as well as the EQ. Unlike the 1700X, again, big difference, going up, Those guys have a 13-band graphic equalizer laid out similarly with all the frequency bands, etc., from left to right, which you can drag and do this with your finger. This one here is not the same way. This one here you have to do it the beep, 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 beep way, like this. You know, you can do this if you're patient, which I am not. You have your 5-band EQ, you have customizable settings 1 and 2, as well as all the useless factory preset ones. But we do things custom around here, so that's how we do it. Now, let me get back out of here. Let me show you all the settings. Your graphic EQ is what I just showed you. Your rear speakers, you can adjust those for full, or you can change it, because this one here on the rear, I have yet to show you, but on the rear, I'll get to that, the RCA preamp outputs. The higher end units have dedicated front, rear, and subwoofer preamp outputs, so you have a total of 6 plugs. These lower end entry level units have a set of 4, so you can have front and rear for a 4-channel amp, or if you had a front and a sub, you can't have it all 3 ways, front, rear, and sub, unless you use a pair of Y splitters and split off the front and had the sub separately, so that way you can have a subwoofer crossover from the head unit and have a full range from the front. But you can't have it all 3 ways, not with this unit anyway. Fader and balance, nothing exciting really there. I mean, nowhere near as exciting as the higher end units, but you know, with a little love and patience, it works just fine. I mean, it does what it's supposed to do, right? Loudness, you can adjust it for emphasizing the low, mid, or high frequencies, your choice, of course. Moving on, you got your high pass filter, which you can eliminate, say, 80 hertz and down on your full range front speakers, and have 80 hertz and down play on your sub, and you can have, you know, a filter covering all your bases, or modify it to however as you need it to be, of course. Sound level adjustments, you can adjust different sources to different volume levels, so that way when you toggle from one source to the next, you don't go into shock or your ears don't get hurt. Bass booster, several different levels, you could turn them up and down, which is a cool feature, never before done on an entry level unit for Pioneer, by the way, I must say. Here's your sub settings. You have your reverse and normal phase settings for your subwoofer. Level goes up to 6. You have your frequencies, which is 125, 100, 80, 63, 50 is the lowest it'll go. Unlike the higher end units, which go anywhere from 20 to 400, which is crazy, and they even have slopes. You can create some wicked bandpass filters. Those things are really cool. But this unit here, hey, it has a subwoofer control, and that's something I can't say for some other units. DivX setup DVD already plays all that stuff, so who even cares about that? Now on the rear of this unit, you have your dedicated aux, and you have a camera input, and I want to show you that right now because I'm just about to wrap this up. Let me show you what's going on and what you could expect in the rear side of this unit. Here we are at the rear side of the unit. This here is my CDIU52V, or my lightning cable for my iPhone, which is not included. The Pioneer just gives you the extension, so you can plug it right in here, run it out like I was saying. Between the two of this and this, put them together, you got about 5-6 feet easily, and that's plenty to run out. Put it between your cushions or in your center console, wherever, and then you can have access to your USB for your Android or iPhone. Over here, these are the 2 preamp outputs I was telling you about for the front and rear, or front and subwoofer outputs. Over here you have your 3.5mm auxiliary input, your dedicated video output, and you have your rear view camera dedicated input. Over here you have your 16-pin speaker power harness, nothing exciting going on there. Over here, steering wheel remote interface, so if you're going to use the steering wheel controls from your stock steering wheel into the radio, plug it in right here. Analog antenna input, and that's it. Unlike the other unit that I showed, and I'm sorry to keep beating it to death, but that just aggravated me when I seen other people doing reviews and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. This one here only has 2 preamp outputs, unlike the 1700, which has 3, plus it has a dedicated RGB input for the expandable navigation system. None of that stuff is here. No Sirius XM plug. This is what it is, folks. Take it from me, this is what it is. There's a picture of the 170 DVD. I take my time and I try to show you guys what it is because I want you to be better off and more educated by the time you watch my video. Hopefully that's the case. If I didn't, then it's probably not my fault. It's probably just because you're dumb. But I'm doing the best I can, and this is what the unit has. Just because other people say that it has something, don't be a sheep in a herd and believe people on their merit that they know what the heck they're talking about, because so many of these guys I find more and more lately, just that's not the case. But there it is. That's my take on it. There's a review of the Pioneer AVH 170 DVD.